Good evening, brothers of the axe. Just out here in the shop. It's a Tuesday night, and spring has sprung here in eastern Pennsylvania. It was like 50-something degrees out today, just a gorgeous day, and it's got me thinking about the upcoming spring and summer and fall, and that means that camping season is upon us. So I wanted to pull out some of my camping axes that I like to take on my trips. But before I do that, I wanted to just go over one quick thing. This ball peen hammer that I told everybody I was going to do a build along with, carving a handle and all that. Well, last night, just spur of the moment, decided to just bang the handle out for this thing, clean it up, and hang it. Just kind of had a little bit of a long day at work and just got out here and started working on it, and just quite frankly didn't feel like filming it. But yeah, I finished this up, and quite honestly, I'm not super happy with the way it came out. I've got the axe handle thing down fairly good, but these double tapered hammer handles, man, these are a little tricky to do, quite honestly. I mean, it didn't turn out too bad, but it's a little wonky. Feels good in the hand. It's got a nice choked up gripping point down here, and then a nice relief and palm swell down here with a nice big sort of bulbous area here to grab onto in the middle. So it's certainly going to work, but it's a little wonky. Not my finest work, to be sure. But the important thing is it's a functional tool, and it's going to go on the hammer rack alongside the other ball peens, cross peens, and my framing mallets and stuff like that. So yeah, apologies for not doing this video, but like I said, sometimes you just got to get out there and just work a little bit and not concentrate on the filming. I got to say, having filmed 3 or 4 videos now, the guys that do all their projects and film everything, man, I mean, kudos to you. My hat's off, because even just doing simple overhead stuff here on my cell phone is a lot more, makes it a lot more of a chore getting these projects done. So yeah, these guys that are putting out great videos and doing great work, man, like, I can appreciate it even more now, having done a few of these videos. So yeah, that's done. Apologies. But moving on from that one, I wanted to pull out some of these axes tonight and oil some stuff down, maybe tune up any edges or anything like that that needs to be tuned up. And then just kind of go over, the 3 or 4 camping axes that I have. So let me pull out, I guess I'll probably do everything by size. And I'll start with the smallest one that I take first. So start with this guy. This actually was the last one that I took out, and this is a True Temper Tommy axe that I put on a 19-inch Whiskey River handle. If you guys haven't checked out any of the stuff that Whiskey River is putting out, man, if you don't feel like carving your own handle, I gotta say, they're not cheap, but I'll tell you what, the quality is really good for what you're paying for. This one had perfect grain, absolutely perfect grain. Nice 19-inch handle, beautifully slim. I had to do absolutely no work at all on this handle, aside from fitting the head to it. And this Tommy axe head I got in a trade with a gentleman on Bushcraft USA. Really hooked me up. He had a Tommy axe, and he had a True Temper Tomahawk, and he hooked me up with the Tommy axe and the handle in exchange for hafting the True Temper Tomahawk and sending it back to him. So really, really good deal. His name was John, I believe. So yeah, John, if you're watching this one, man, I've really been getting a lot of use out of this thing, and thanks for the awesome trade. But yeah, this is a nice combo, and especially this came to me with the nail puller removed. A lot of times what happens is these have a nail puller that sticks off the back, and from what I've seen, a lot of times what happens is one or both of the claws will get chipped off over the years. But these are it's so much of a better tool, honestly, without the nail puller on there, because you can really choke up choke up on that to make feather sticks, do a little carving. But it's a great combo. It's like 1.75 pounds head, and on a 19 or a 20 or 22-inch handle. Man, this thing really, really makes a good camp axe. And what did we do? The last time I had this out, me and my buddy were kayaking. We did an overnight trip on the Delaware River. So I had this thing out. It was a great kayak axe. It fit right into the rear storage of my kayak. Just have a 12-foot sitting kayak. It fit back there perfectly. Yeah, this is a great one, man. So a little rusty. Everything's just been kind of living out here in the shed. Just throw a little PB blaster on it. Get the steel nice and treated. Get some of that rust off. So yeah, just looking forward to the camping season, man. I have some plans to get out there on the water. Hopefully do a couple multi-day trips this summer on the water in the kayak. I'd love to get out there and do some car camping. Maybe one or two nights. This one came too with this really nice Kydex sheath. I did not make this, but it's a nice fitting sheath. I think it was custom made for this head. But all in all, it's a nice compact package that really, really does get a lot of work done for the size and the weight on this thing. It's a great splitter. It's got a nice profile to it. It's got a nice chopping profile to it, as you can see. And like a lot of the old Kelly axes, it's got a nice high-ish center line to it. It's really got a nice shape to it. Great little axe. These are, I mean, I don't know how hard they're getting to come by anymore, but people are really getting turned on to these, and these are getting more and more expensive on eBay, you know, Etsy and all the secondary markets that these guys are doing their reselling on. So if you could pick one of these up locally, I would recommend it. I don't know if I'd spend $50 on one, like some of these guys are getting on eBay, a little ridiculous with these heads, but if you can pick one up locally for a good price, I would really, really recommend it. Especially on a 19-inch, 20-inch handle. These Whiskey River handles. This is a great, great, great combo for backpacking, canoeing, kayaking. Just throw a little wax on there. This is just a paste wax that I make with a combination of beeswax and a little mineral oil. Once I get my initial boiled linseed oil onto the handle, for the most part, I'll treat it with this wax there on out. Just a little bit easier to apply. It's like less smelly. Doesn't kind of leave that, like, I don't know, that kind of boiled linseed oil sort of has like a smell of like fried fish grease or something like that, at least on my skin anyways. And anytime I use it, my wife she'll smell it on me. She'll smell it a mile away. Yeah, this is a good one. Really like this one. Next one. This was one of the first axes I ever hung. This is, I don't know if this is a Halsbrook or Haltafors. I'm not sure what it is. It's Swedish, made in Sweden, and 2.25 pound, 10 kilograms or 1 kilogram, 1.0. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm in America. We don't use the metric system in America. So, but yeah, it's a nice boy's axe. Nice Swedish. I think they call this, I want to say the Yankee pattern. And it's got, I would say, a more flatter cheek to it. It's got a more flatter profile. And this one is on Not the greatest handle. This is an OP Link handle that I bought at, like, I want to say I bought this in an Ace Hardware. It's got okay grain. I think it's got about like 45-degree grain, but there's a really minute palm swell on here, and it's just not it's a very straight handle, but not a lot of curve to it. And I don't remember, honestly, I hung this so long ago, I don't remember if I took any meat off this handle. I'm going to say I probably didn't, but, you know, it was one of the first hangs I ever did. And I've brought this axe on quite a few trips. This axe has been up to the Delaware State Forest with me in the Poconos. Many nights out in the wilderness of Pennsylvania with this axe. For a while, this was the only, you know, this is one of the only axes I had. For a while, I was just kind of buying and selling and flipping and not really keeping axes. But yeah, this is a good one, and a lot of memories on this axe. It takes a great edge. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold an edge all that well, and I'm not sure if that's a heat treatment problem or if it's just, you know, a more modern axe made not with the greatest steel. I did use this axe recently. I had a couple pallets in the backyard that I chopped up for some, just for to burn in the fire pit, and it did chip a little bit. And I don't know if that was, maybe I hit a nail or a fastener or something, one of the pallets, but it did chip out a little bit. I had to spend some time with a stone getting that edge back. But yeah, a lot of memories with this one. Definitely not one of the better axes that I have these days, but I wouldn't get rid of it, wouldn't sell it. A lot of patina on it. Next one. So this is an old favorite of mine. I really, really enjoy this axe. This was my go-to camping axe for, honestly, probably up until last year or so. This is a Shapley's Hardware Diamond Edge boys axe. And the cool thing about this one is it's a boys axe, but it is a heavy boys axe. It sits somewhere in the, I weighed it at one point. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's between 2.5 and 2 3/4 pounds. So it's a heavy boys axe. But like a lot of the axes that are like around the 2 3/4 or 3-ish pound range, it's not just a stubby, used up full-size axe. This is a legitimate boys axe, and it just has a beautiful high center line. This axe is, I'm not sure if the Diamond Edge was Shapley's premium line, or who even made it for them. I don't believe Shapley was making their own, forging their own axes, but this really seems like a very premium piece. Unfortunately, somebody did, I'm not sure whether it was tent spikes or something, somebody really did mar up the back of this thing, and because of the way the stamping is on this axe, I just never had the heart to go at it with a file and clean it up. It doesn't affect the performance of this axe whatsoever, but this is not one of my handles. I hung this axe so long ago, I was not carving handles at the time. This is, I believe, a house handle. It's a house 28-inch boys axe handle. And again, when I put this axe together, I don't think that I was slimming handles down or anything like that. I think I was still just kind of throwing heads on handles, doing just very basic axe restorations. So this is relatively thin for house standards. I have not bought a house handle in probably 5 or 6 years. But the last time that I did, it was a bit of a club, honestly. The amount of work that it took to thin that handle down was more than I was willing to put in, and that's actually what prompted me to get into carving my own handles. But this particular one was a decent specimen. It had good grain, and it was certainly thin enough. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if their quality came back or not. I know for a while, before Whiskey River and some of the other like Hoffman handles and stuff came into play, they were just getting inundated with orders, I'm sure. So keeping up with that amount of orders is probably, I'm sure, not an easy task. So I don't want to bash on them, because certainly, it had straight grain, but yeah, for a while they were kind of putting out some very, very thick handles. But for a long time, they were the only game in town, basically. And they sort of pioneered that whole hand-picked and octagonalized service that they did. So, no hate on them whatsoever. They were, I'm sure, probably pioneers in this game. Yeah, really, really enjoy this axe, and it chops unbelievably well. It's a good splitter, and at 2 3/4 pounds or 2.5 pounds, it really gets a lot of work done for a compact package. All right, so this one, this is I'm assuming a paper label Kelly wood slasher. It was unmarked. Got this at a flea market here in Pennsylvania. It's on what I believe to be the original handle, and I did take this axe off the handle, remounted it, re-wedged it because it was a little loose. It had dried a little bit, but I'm not sure what this carving is. I really can't even make out what it is. I'm not sure if this might have been like a Boy Scout troop, or I don't think this is like a fire service axe or anything like that. But I thought it was really cool that there was like old carving in it, and it's got a nice palm swell on it. Really nice old thin handle on this guy. And what really drew me to this was just the fact that the bit on this thing was perfect. Pole on this thing was perfect. Nobody had beat it up. Somebody actually used this axe like an axe, if you can believe that. Not just a sledgehammer. But yeah, it still had some of the original red paint that I decided to leave on there instead of cleaning it completely off. But yeah, man, this thing took a really nice razor's edge. Very nice. And yeah, like I said, I just put a wooden wedge in there. It had a, I don't think it was steel. I think it was like an aluminum wedge. But all these old Kelly axes, even the paper label wood slashers, even like their non-premium line, they all have just this beautiful profile to them. I'm a big Kelly fan, if you could see that. And even this one, which is somewhat modern, has that nice center line, that nice high center line with the bevels on the top and the bottom like that. Not the phantom bevels, but just the way that the axe is sort of forged. It kind of tucks in and tucks in. But yeah, I'm a big Kelly fan. Kelly is probably, if I had to narrow it down to just one manufacturer, I'm a big Kelly. I like what Kelly put out. Yeah, this is, I was lucky to pick this up. I picked this up for a song too at a flea market. Probably, I think I paid $15 for this. Got really lucky. And the guy had a matching full-size 3.5 or 4 pound Dayton, but he wanted, I don't remember what he wanted for that one. He wanted kind of silly money for that one, and he was practically giving this one away. So took what I got. Didn't cry about it at all. Not paying $15 for this. And then this is something that I made. I actually made this for the Shapely, but But the nice thing about this is it actually fits. It fits most of my boys' axes. It fits the Swedish head. It fits this Kelly, albeit a little loose. But it was made for that Swedish head. And this axe lives in my SUV for the most part. But yeah, I did this mask several years ago. And yeah, luckily it fits a lot of my boys' axes. Now, this one, I hunted for this for years. This is, a lot of you guys will know, this is a Plumb national pattern. This is the 1 3/4 pound. And this one does have, I'm just going to grab a sip of coffee here. This one does have a custom handle that I did. And honestly, I kind of got a little overzealous on the palm swell on this handle. I've been actually debating on maybe chopping off this little horn. But I don't know. It really locks your hand in. That's for sure. I don't know. It looks a little silly. It looks a little fantasy-ish. But yeah, I made this handle last summer at some point, specifically for this axe. And I got this off a buddy. Worked a trade with a local buddy of mine, Alex. But I am excited to get this one out. This might actually go with me on a canoe trip or pardon me, a kayak trip this year. But yeah, I lusted after these for years and just I could not find one of these locally. These Plumb national patterns. I had seen a couple of the full size in antique malls and things like that, and people knew what they had and they were asking good money for them. But the 1 3/4 pound was what I was after. And this is, I don't remember exactly what this wound up being. Should have pulled the tape measure out before. I think 22? 21. Just a skinch over 21 inches. But yeah, very excited about getting this thing either out on the trail or out on the water this summer. Now, this is a Plumb Victory, and if anybody knows, can we see that? Yeah, Plumb Victory. I am not 100% sure, but from what I gather, the Plumb Victories were made in and around the World War II era. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I believe the whole victory thing was about. It was, victory in World War II, and from what I've understood, I guess they were kind of, they were like throttling back production or maybe banging them out quicker or something like that to like help with the war effort or something. I don't know. If somebody knows the history more, feel free to chime in, but still a pretty nice axe. I don't think this thing has a ton of toe wear. I think these bits were a lot more rounded. I don't think these things had like a flat profile on the bit, so I'm not sure how much toe wear is on this, but I'm pretty sure it's got a nice full profile. Back pole isn't all banged up or anything like that. It's got a little bit of, somebody worked it over a little bit, but not like we see a lot of times. And these have this really cool chamfering on the pole, if you could see that, the chamfering there. And from what I understand, these poles are hardened. So banging tent stakes and wedges and things like that with these are really not as big of a problem as it would be on a normal axe that has just like a regular iron pole that's not hardened. But yeah, looking forward to getting this guy out this summer. I got to put a more keen edge on this. It's just got a rudimentary grind to it, but I got to spend some time really honing that edge in. But yeah, looking forward to getting this thing in the woods, that's for sure. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll clip that palm swell a little bit. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that might be an area that could you know, possibly break. I don't know if having all that extra stick off is like a problem as far as stress goes and anything like that. I just would hate to see that chip out and, you know, lose the handle. Well, I wouldn't lose the handle, but, you know, have the handle get all messed up. So anyway, yeah, those are the axes that I'm planning on using this summer. And I just wanted to also give a shout out to the Urban Lumberjack. He shouted me out on his page the other day, which I got a couple new subscribers from it and a couple views on my video that I posted, which is nice because I'm basically a brand new channel. So I appreciate him doing that, and I really do appreciate all the content that he creates. If you guys, you know, I mean, anybody that's here is probably either here through him or, you know, if you've made it this far into the depths of YouTube, you probably already know who he is because he's got a couple few thousand subscribers at this point. So if you don't know him, go check him out though, Urban Lumberjack. Really good content over there. And thanks again for that shout out. And yeah, since I tagged you in it, you know, I'd love to see your camping axes. I recently watched a video that you did at the camping trip in, what was it, North Georgia or something like that, I want to say. And be curious to see what you bring camping. So if you want to post a video response, that would be cool. But anyways, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, I appreciate everybody sticking around. Again, I know I'm long-winded and I'm trying to trunicate these videos a little bit. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good night, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.